and we fought till 3 cops went to jail. I thought y'all learned you can't put your knee on our necks. But if we got to go from Minneapolis to Milwaukee, you're going to learn to keep your knees off our necks.
National Civil Rights Leader Al Sharpton in Milwaukee delivering the eulogy for Devontae Mitchell today. Mitchell died after Hyatt Regency security and staff pinned him to the ground outside the downtown hotel June 30th. His family wants the district attorney to file criminal charges in this case. And joining us this afternoon is 12 News legal expert and criminal defense attorney Dan Adams. Good to see you, Dan. We know the district attorney is reviewing the cell phone video that so many people have seen, as well as other video from inside the hotel. As an attorney, and I know you hire investigators to do work for you, what would a prosecutor be looking for in these videos?
Well, in every case, you want to have as much evidence as you can to develop the entire story and picture of each actor and the events and what they did in the actions coming up to the death. So they're going to be looking at the surveillance video from the hotel. Luckily, it happened at a commercial property, so we can expect that there's going to be a lot of good video following all of these people around that lobby and then outside, and see exactly what they were doing and what the expectation was and why they had to go hands-on, or why they thought they had to go hands-on with Mr. Mitchell, and then exactly what actions they took once he was on the ground.
And we know some people lost their jobs behind this case, folks who work for the company that operates the Hyatt. And lawyers for Mitchell's family yesterday held a news conference calling for criminal charges, specifically a high charge. Let's take a listen to that portion of the news conference.
We believe that based off the video evidence that will ultimately come out at some point, in a combination with the sworn affidavit that we now have in our possession, that first-degree intentional homicide is appropriate here.
First-degree intentional homicide, that is a high legal bar to meet. Talk about that bar compared to another potential charge you would expect.
Yeah, I don't expect a first-degree intentional homicide just based on what we know. I mean, to charge that, you have to be reasonably certain that you're going to have a conviction, and that's going to require that you believe that you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that those people who held Mr. Mitchell down intended, they meant for him to die in that instance. I just don't think that that is borne out by the evidence at this point. What's more reasonable from my point of view is a reckless homicide, which is they knew that there was risk to life of Mr. Mitchell, they were aware of that risk, and they still proceeded with their actions, and that resulted in a death. So that would be probably what the district attorney is looking at right now.
Okay. One of the questions I had in this story was about the hotel's policy and procedures when it comes to use of force for their security staff, as well as any potential training on prone restraints and positional asphyxia. Emily Pofall asked that question to the legal team yesterday.
Has your team been able to view or heard anything about Hyatt's security use of force policies? Do you guys know if they were trained when it comes
Not at this time. Not at this time. We expect the Hyatt to reach out to the family.
How important would those policies and training of those staff members be in this kind of case?
Well, in the criminal case, it may be tangentially important, but in the civil case, there's going to be a wrongful death civil case brought by the family. And it's, the person with the pockets, as we call the money, will be Hyatt and its parent companies. And so what the family is going to try to prove is that they negligently hired these people, they negligently trained these people, and they negligently supervised these people to the point where their actions come under the umbrella of the company, and therefore the company is liable for damages to the family.
How important, we heard from Biari Lamar, they said that one of the people who was holding Mitchell down, the person holding his legs, came to the defense team or to Mitchell's family's attorneys saying he thought this was too much. How important is that person's testimony and information for the DA?
Well, it's interesting because he's potentially a defendant, right? As party to a crime, he was involved in the actions that led to the death. And for him to make a voluntary statement under oath is a big deal on the criminal side, but also in terms of the knowledge requirement. Again, under reckless homicide, you still have to be aware of the risk that you're creating. Certainly, at least one of those four individuals knew that they were going to an extreme length and putting Mr. Mitchell at risk of death or great bodily harm.